The producer is planning the contents of CDs consisting of a sequence of exactly 5 instrumental pieces. R, S, T, V, W. To create and sustain certain woods, the sequence of pieces will satisfy the following constraints. S must be earlier than V. So from there we're going to put S before V. And then from there, I'm just going to go make sure it's 5 pieces. So just put the number 5. Next condition is going to be T must be either earlier than both R and S. So we're going to see T before must be earlier than R and S. So let me just go ahead and put this variables in here real quickly. R. And then we're going to put S. Or later than R and S. So T must be earlier than R and S, or it could be later than R and S. So the way I would represent this, just go back to the diagram if I could just see the dot. I'm going to go ahead and put another item here. Then I'm going to put R here. Ugh, sorry about the R. So now I have T before R and S, or T after R and S. The next condition is going to be W must be either earlier than both R and T. So now we're communicating about W. So W, I will put W right here. And the condition is going to state that W must be either before R and T or later than R and T. So with that information, I'm just going to go ahead and draw it in there again, just the same way I did. So if I could visually just put the diagonal angles here. And I'm going to go ahead and put in the R. And the other letter is going to be T. See if I can be quick about T. So now I have W, and it must be earlier than R and T, or it must be after R and T. And with these 3 conditions right here, I have separated with the lines in between. So we're going to have 3 conditions. One, the 5 pieces could appear in which one of the following sequences on the CD in order from first to last. So S has to be before V, so go ahead and look for that real quickly. And if you can see that the numero or letter D has B before it, so go ahead and remove it. T has to be before or after R and S. We see that it's in between, so go ahead and remove it on choice A. Okay, so far we see that's in between, so go ahead and move it in choice E. So now at least with B and C. W has to be after R and T. So we see it's at the end, that's okay. We see W is between, so let's go ahead and remove it. Process elimination leads us to choice B. So go ahead and choose B. With that being said, you want to go ahead and use that correct piece game board to go ahead and fill in the right information. And now we have it right now where it's going to be in a position where if we want to, we could refer back to this world right now. And in this world, this is going to be what we consider a proper answer. And by proper, I mean sufficient, because this information is considered accurate. So we can go ahead and use this piece right here. And this is going to be number 1 right now. Let me go ahead and remove this last one. Number 2, if S is in the 4th piece on the CD, then which one of the following must be true? So this is going to be the 4th piece right here. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put a letter S, and I'm going to draw it in. So in this game board, you're going to see that the letter S is going to be on the 4th set. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that it meets the conditioning rules. And I know S has to be before B, so no matter what, B is going to be after it. Now, our S have to be what you consider before or after T. So we already see R here, so let's go ahead. I mean S, so let's go ahead and put R. I'm going to have T. And then I'm going to put W. Now, with this world that I created, it meets the standards of all conditions. And with this rule also, you're going to able to do what considered is a coin flip, where the R and S is after T, so that's going to be okay, and R and T after W. So this is kind of actually solid right now, so you're not going to be able to do anything else. So in this world, this is going to be it. So this is going to be kind of like a must be true, because there's no other way out of it. It's kind of isolated. R is earlier on the CD than W, so we don't see that. So go ahead and remove it. If you can see, to make it quicker, is earlier, is earlier, is earlier, is earlier is all the choices. So S before T, don't see it, remove it. T before R, do see it, pick it. Just in case, I'm just going to keep on going, just make sure these answers are false. V earlier than W, don't see it. W is earlier than T. So both of these answers are, we consider in play, where T is before R and W is before T. W has to be before R and T has to be before R and S. So does W is earlier than T, is T earlier than R? Just to double check real quickly, if I could, let me see if I can make this one work out with the both of these answers work out. Let me see if I could just change this information right here about W. I mean about the T and R. So now I created another world where it's WRT. Now I create a second world where it's kind of rearranged, but it still meets the conditions. And the reason why I created the second world is because I had 2 options here that met both these conditions. And instead of just choosing the first one, I wanted to make sure. So it says T is earlier than R. So if you look, T is earlier than R on both worlds. And the second one, this choice says W is earlier than T. If you look at the second world, T is actually earlier than W. So this one is true in both worlds, so it must be true. So go ahead and choose C, and the answer is C. T is earlier on the CD than R. Question 3, if R is in the first piece on the CD, then which one of the following could be true? So let me go ahead and use world 2, and I'm going to do what I consider a coin flip. And what a coin flip is, it's going to be where you just flip the letters to another letter that's above it. So just like that, just did a coin flip for those two. W, S, V. And this world that I just created, where it's RTWSV, you will see that it meets the condition. Let's see if this is okay right now. Just this world. T is in the second. We see that to be true. V is in the third. We don't see that. W is in the third. We do see that. S is in the fourth. We see that as well. T is the last piece. We don't see that. So I have A, C, and D where it works out. Let me just make sure that I'm going to go ahead and do another world just to make sure that it meets the condition where R is going to be first. So we're going to put R here. And what I want to see if I can go ahead and do a flip that I can see where I can flip the variable. So R and T have to be S and V. So what I can do here, I could put the letter S in second place. Now I'm gonna put T on a side that this place right here, and then I'm gonna make sure that the W is on the outside of R and S, and I'm gonna put the letter V here just because V has to be after S or S before V. So now I created two worlds where R is in the first spot in number 3, and in both of these worlds created, they meet the conditions. So let's go ahead and see the last process elimination for the 3 A, C, D. So T is in second. We don't see that anymore in the second world. W is the third. We don't see that. And S is fourth. We don't see that anymore. So I created 3 worlds right now. And let me see just all 3 of them just real quick to see if I can meet the standards. S before V meets. RS has to be before FT. We see that T's in the middle. So I'm just going to cross out this world that I created because it's no good. So RS that we see. RT before or after W. So these 2 worlds that I created, it does work out. So let's see. Right now, I see that S is in the second spot. So let me see if S is number 4. So S, they're saying no. So let me go ahead and see if I can see if it's true or not. I'm just going to select it. T is in second. No. B is in third. That could be true. I do see it. W is in third. No. S is in fourth. No. T is the last place. No. So one thing I see is V is in we said third position. So answer B. V is in the third piece on the CD. Hopefully that's helpful. If you see a mistake or an error where it's none of the choices available, that you create another world and then apply the condition to all the worlds instead of just doing one at a time. That way you can just cross off and move on quickly as possible to the answer choices. So for this question, I'm going to read it. If T is the second piece on the CD, then which of the following could be true? So here I have T as the second piece. And for those of you guys who see, I'm going to go ahead and circle it. And you see how T is in the second set. So I'm going to show you guys what a kind of a switch is here. Where you can do something in this manner. Where if you switch R and V, the conditions will still be the same and the game will still be true. So in this world, we can do a switch with R and V. And this is kind of like the symbol for switching it. For this world, we're not going to do a switch because S has to be before V, because if you look at the condition, it has to be. So let's go ahead and see if we can answer this question with these world that we created for question number 4. S is the first piece in the CD. You can see it's W for number 4. And for those of you guys can't see it, I'm going to go ahead and show you. I'm going to write down 4, and you see that W is first, so we're going to eliminate. R is the first piece. You see it's not. Actually, S is the first piece. See, it's not. R is the first piece. See, it's not. V is the third piece. You see, it's not. W is the fourth piece. You see, it's not. R is the last piece. You see, it's not. See the switch here? What that switch means? That it could be RV or it could be VR, and it will still mean the same. So go ahead and choose E because it is possible with the switch. And that switch there saves you some time to do in another world. So hopefully that makes you a bit quicker on the logic game by knowing the switch symbol, right? Question 5. I don't recommend doing it like this. The first and second piece on the CD is listed in order. could be. So this is for question 5. I wrote down the choices A, B, C, D, E. So right now we know that S is going to be before V. So R, the first choice, is not going to work because if V is in second, then S is going to go after, which is against the first condition. So go ahead and eliminate that. And as you eliminate it, just go ahead and move out the game board just to make sure that we don't interfere with it. So right now it's saying R, W. We already know that W cannot be in between R and T. So go ahead and eliminate choice 2, which is B. And while you're doing that, you're going to go ahead and move on. S and T. Right now we know that T cannot be in between S, R. So just go ahead and eliminate that. And as you eliminate, just make sure that the board and the answer choice matches T and W. So what I was told, that W cannot be in between T and R. So go ahead and eliminate that. And as you can tell, process of elimination brought us to one choice. And if you're looking for what you would consider a interdisciplinary approach where you use two methods instead of just relying on one method to get the correct answer, notice how it goes WS. So far so good. Nothing's violated, everything's in order. So there's your interdisciplinary two methods, process of elimination, and also using RR, the rules and regulation. With the rules and regulations, it's going to be on the right hand side, and it's kind of like the information that it has to obey by. So I'm going to go ahead and write down the RR, which is kind of considered rules, regulations, which kind of is the conditions that governs the information. So the two methods would be process of elimination and RR. And for the process of elimination, you might hear it as P, O, and the last letter is going to be E. P for process, O for of, E for elimination, and I use RR for rules and regulation, which is the conditions. Answer for this question is going to be E, W, and S. The two methods we use to get this one is going to be considered process of elimination and the rules and regulation. Make sure that the last answers match, obeys with these conditions, or these conditions is okay for this information to be correct. For question 6, if V is in the second plate, he's in the city, which of the following could be true? So I want to go put V in second position here, and I bolded it for number 6. So all we have to do is just simply fill it out. We already know that S has to be before V, so that kind of minimizes the information right now. So now we only have 3 letters left. So we kind of narrow it down 3 out of 5. So let's make sure everything else meets the standards, where R has to be before. So we're going to put R here. And I'm also going to put R here just for right now. Now I'm going to put T here. And then I'm going to put W in this world. Now for this world, it worked out. RTW. Just to make sure that I'm going to go ahead and just fill it in. W. And now I'm going to make sure that it works out here as well, where the W is going to be between the V and R. And then I'm going to put T here. And according to the conditions, these two worlds that I created right now do meet the standards of being able to answer this question. So with these two worlds, I want to go ahead and put V in the second piece. Now let me answer these questions, which could be true. W is the first C. No. We see the letter S. S is in the third. No. T is in the third. No. R is the fourth. We see that. R is the last piece. We don't see that. The only thing we see is that R is in the fourth. So we're going to choose that answer. Answer D. R is in the fourth piece on the CD. Question 7. If W is the first piece on the CD, then which of the following cannot be true? So I'm going to look for another world or a previous world where I see W is in the first piece. And I see it right here. So let's go to use number 4 as the world. So if I see it, I see it. T is third. No. V is third. No. S is fourth. I do see that. And this question is going to be cannot be true. So I do see that in this world S could be fourth. So that is, it could be true. V is in third. However, I don't see T is in third place though. That I do not see right off the bat. So it says cannot be true. So for W in the first piece, T is going to have to be in the second piece for both worlds. So with T being in second place for both worlds, that means that's not going to be allowed in choice in slot 3. So go ahead and choose spot 3 and go ahead and choose that answer. And it's going to be answer, it's going to be A. T is in the third piece. So that's going to be it for the logic game, first one for Prep Test 73. Let's see how well we did. For the first game, we were able to get all 7 questions correct. Quick review. We got the first question correct with answering using the conditions, and we were able to come up with the first one. And then we saved that world. We went on to question 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then that last question we were able to use the previous world in 4 to answer it. So hopefully that one helped out. If this logic game helped you out, please subscribe so I continue making more. At a business symposium, there is exactly 5 speakers. L, M, X, Y, Z. Each speaker will give one speech in either the G or the R room. In each room, there will be exactly one speech at 1 p.m. and one speech at 2 p.m. And one of the rooms yet to be determined, there will be also a speech at 3 p.m. The schedule of speeches is constrained by the following. Speech must be earlier than L and in the same room. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and put a number. And then I'm going to go ahead and put what you consider a... So with the first condition is L before L. And if you guys had trouble seeing the visuals diagrams, just go ahead and look here, and they have a visual representation. So let's go and look for it in the first question. Which one of the following could be the speeches given in each room listed in the order in which they occur? So we already know that M needs to be before L and it has to be in the same room. So far, we don't see it in this one, so go ahead and eliminate it. And we also don't see it in this room as well, so we go and eliminate it. So we eliminated 3 choices right now with that condition. Second condition is going to state neither X nor Y speech can be earlier than Z. So what I'm going to do with this information is I'm going to have to put Z in a position where it's going to be after Y, because they're saying basically that neither X nor Y can be earlier than Z. So basically that's going to say that... So for the second condition, I have is the contradiction, which they're saying neither X nor Y speech can be earlier. So instead of writing what you consider X, Y in that position, So instead of putting x and y in front of z and then crossing it out, I'm just going to go ahead and do the opposite, or the contradiction what it's saying. Because usually with a condition, you can always get another hint or another idea. So this is saying that z has to be earlier than y and x. So let's go and look for it really quick and apply it. So we're looking for z, and we're looking for it to be earlier than y and x. This has x before z, so go ahead and eliminate it. This has z in a position where it's before y. So let's go and, so right now we have two choices right now, A and C. So this would be a third condition. Hopefully this condition right here goes ahead and settles the whole entire lot. If L speech is in the go room, so if G has the go room and L is in there, then X and Z speech must be in the R room. So I'm gonna go ahead and put R, and then I'm gonna go put X, Z, and I'm gonna put some symbols on there, see if it helps out. For this one, I'm gonna go ahead and draw the rainbow. It's gonna show that it can be going back and forth, meaning that it doesn't have to be necessary like X before Z. It could be Z before X, but they have to be in the go room. So this is gonna be considered the third condition. So if L is in the go room, then R is gonna be in the X and Z is gonna be in the R room. So let me go ahead and look for it real quickly. Hopefully that'll be better information on what I'm trying to say right now. So if G is in the go room, which if L is in the go room, which I see in both, then X and Z have to be in the R room, and X is in the go room. So go ahead and eliminate choice C. So an interdisciplinary approach, what I would do is give you two methods, and in interdisciplinary it means using two methods to solve a single problem. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and do a process of elimination, which we just did right now. And the process of elimination is going to be known as POE. And that way you get through the correct answer, which we did. This is how we got to the right answer. Or you could do the rules of regulation. These are the rules of regulation, and apply it to this one right here. If you see it, it should take less than 5 or 10 seconds. M before L, which we see. Z before X and Y. And G's in the go room. Or if L's in the go room, then Z and X and Z is in the R room. So that's two methods right there that you can use to get the correct answer. To feel more confident, more where you consider positive about the answer being correct. And the answer for this question is going to be A, ML in the go room, Z, X, Y in the R room. Copy that down because we may have to use this correct piece in the future. Question 9. Which of the following pairs of speeches cannot be given at the same time? Too soon to be answering these questions at the moment. So go ahead and skip this for now. 10. If X speech is at 3 p.m., so I'm going to go ahead and put X speech at 3 p.m. in this world right now. Which of the following cannot be true? So I'm going to go ahead and fill out the rest. Question 10. If X speech is at 3 p.m., which of the following cannot be true? I'm going to go ahead and create two worlds where X is going to be at 3 p.m. And I'm going to try to solve, put this in a position where everything meets the standards as quickly as possible. And I'm going to put M before L. Z has to be before Y and X. So I'm going to put Z here just to make sure that's before Y and X. I'm also going to put Z in the middle just to make sure that I have something different. And they're saying if G's in the gold room, so that's only if G's in the. I'm sorry, I keep on saying that. If L's in the gold room, and I'm gonna go ahead and put those two symbols in there. Question 10. If X is in this 3 p.m., which one of the following cannot be true? So I went ahead and created two worlds where X is in the third position. And as you can see that I'm going to go ahead and isolate it. Usually when I isolate it, that means that I'm going to go ahead and distinguish it from everything else or mark it off. It can't be moved. So let's go ahead through the choices real quickly. A. Our speech is in the same room as Y. That's not true. So they're asking which cannot be true. L in the same speech with Y is not true. So that's going to be an option available. Some people like to just pick the first answer and just be satisfied with that. I really don't, because I like to actually try to get the most accurate answer the first time. So what I like to do is just to make sure that that's the correct answer. I'm just going to go ahead and just go through all of them. And it should take about 7 to 10 seconds. It shouldn't really take that long. Speech is in the same room as X. And if I can give you guys some hints or idea, it says speech is in the same room as for all the remaining questions. And if you see it, you see it. You don't, you don't. For example, M is in the same room as X. I see it here, so go ahead and eliminate it. X is in the same room as Y. I see it in the second world, eliminate it. X with Z, I see it in the second world. Y with Z, I see it in the second world. The only thing I don't see is L with Y. That's the only that I do not see, so that's the one that cannot be true. If it were true, then I will see L with Y. And I don't, so this cannot be true. L. By process eliminations, it brought you the answer A. Question 11. Which one of the following could be a complete and accurate list of the speeches given in the gold room in the order in which they are given? So it has to be in order. So let's try to use the conditions to answer this question. M before L. So go ahead and eliminate choice A because it has L before M. They're communicating about M. It has to be in the same box as L, so we don't see L here. So go ahead and eliminate choice B. M is before L, and M is in the same box as L. So this is okay for now. Y has to be after Z, and here Y is before, so go ahead and eliminate that. Z, M, L. We're communicating about in the gold room, so they're communicating about if L is in the gold room, then Z is going to be in the R room. So based on that condition, you're going to have to remove this. So process elimination, brush choice C. Rules and regulation, M before L. Z, there's no Z. If L is in the gold room, which is perfect, so we don't see X and Z. So process elimination and rules and regulation of the conditions brought out to this answer C. Go ahead and choose it. Answer C. M, Y, L is a complete and accurate list of the people who could be in that room. And just go ahead and copy that down for right now. And the reason why I'm asking for to copy it down because it works. And in case we need to refer to this again, we're going to be able to. And we could just put the letters in here between Z, X, and the last letter is going to be those 5 right there. So this will be for question 11. I wrote the correct properties and I want to fill out the bottom piece. So this is for question 11 and identified it. So we come back to this as well. So we got right now 1, 2, 3, 4 worlds right now that does work out properly for us. With this being said, with these 4 worlds, let's go ahead and move on. Question 12, if y is at y p.m., which one of the following could be true? So I put y at y p.m. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and fill this in as quickly as possible, keeping in mind the conditions. So M has to be before L. And if L is in the go room, then X and Z must be in the, what you consider the last room. And now we're going to have what you consider the, and for this world too, I'm going to go put M before L on the bottom one. Just the reason why I do it, just to have two different worlds that meet the same conditions though. That way, if the answers come up, that we have two worlds to work with. So we know if L is in the go room, we're going to have what you consider. See, so let's see if this meets the standard. So M before L, Z before Y and X, which we have to see, put Z here. Then I'm gonna put X here, and I'm gonna look at this condition really quickly about the Z before Y and X. So Z has to be earlier than Y and X. So right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and rearrange the top one, and I'm gonna go ahead and put what you considered X and Z in a position where basically I want it to be where Y and X I created two worlds, so I'm just going to see M before L. That's true on both worlds. Z before Y and X. So we're going to put Z here in first. And somehow we're going to make sure that it's at the same 1 p.m. because we don't want it to come after. If L is in the G room, then X and Z have to be in the R room. So these two worlds meet the conditions. Let's go ahead and answer this question. So this is going to be for question 12. If I see it, I see it. If I don't, I don't use these two worlds in 12. L is at 1 p.m. I see Y. I don't see L. L is at 2 p.m. I don't see L at 2 p.m. M's at 2 p.m. I see it. X at 3 p.m. I don't see X at all at 3 p.m. X at 1 p.m. I don't see X at all. The only thing I see is just M at 2 p.m. Answer, M's speech is at 2 p.m. in the go room. Let's go ahead to question 9 and answer it. Which one of the following pairs of speeches cannot be given at the same time? I went ahead and we already filled out these words, so let's go ahead and use this words. If we see it, we see it. We don't, we don't. L and Y. If I see it here. So let me see if I can highlight it. See if I can, that would be better effect. So L and Y I see here. So that is possible. L and Z I don't see. M and X I see here. And I also see here. X and Y I see here. And YZ I see here as well. The only thing I don't see is just the LZ. So I'm going to go ahead and do a process elimination. And then visually seeing that I don't see it as well, I'm going to go choose that answer. B, L, and Z. Question 13. Which one of the following is substituted for the constraint that neither X speech nor Y speech can be earlier than Z would have the same effect in determining the schedule of speeches with regards to the room and times? Basically, they're asking, with this second condition that we have right now, if we were going to remove this condition that I'm boxing in right now, what these choices between A and E would have the same impact. The way that I do this is I do a process elimination. If I see it, if I don't, I don't. For example, it says L must be at 3 p.m. We see L at 2 p.m., so just go ahead and remove it. M, speech cannot be earlier than Z. We see MZ at the same time. We even see M after Z, so go ahead and remove it. Either X or Y must be after Z. Well, it says X or Y. And with that going to be said, that's you see that Y speech is at the same time as Z. So then you're going to say, no, that's not going to work out. If you look at two words of 12, you see Y and Z at the same time. So go ahead and eliminate that. It says either X or Y must be at 2 p.m. It doesn't say and, it just says or. And let's see Z at 1 p.m. You see Z at 1 p.m. is more accurate. It's between these two choices. Let's go ahead and see if we can do choice D really quickly, just because it's a substitute question. So I'm going to put what you consider X at 2 p.m. Then I'm going to put X at 2 p.m. in here, this game board. Now, we already know that it's going to be M before L. So if M before L came here, but it doesn't really say that, it doesn't really have an impact about Y and Z. It could be Z here or Y here. It just says X or Y. So, no, just because of the or symbol, it doesn't really allow it. So Z at 1 p.m. is going to be true on every single world. So go ahead and choose that one. Answer E. Z speech must be at 1 p.m. Let's go ahead and see how we did for this game and game 2. It says we had an issue with number 11. Let's go ahead and review number 11. During the 17th century, 3 families, the Trents, the Williams, and the Yandels, owned the 5 buildings that constituted the center of their village. The F, the G, the I, the M, and the S. Each family owned at least one of the buildings, and each building was owned by exactly one of the families. The historical evidence establishes the following about the ownership of the buildings. So I went ahead and put the variables on top, TWY, as in the 3 families, and then I put the letters F, G, I, M, S on the right side, symbolizing the 5 what you would consider buildings that need to be owned. So these could be the variables. The way I usually do the variables, the Williams owns more of the buildings than Yandell, so they want like a visual view. So what I would do, I would create W and Y, and I would just make sure that W is more than Y. And from there, let's go ahead and look for it right now to see if where we can see that W is more than Y and where it's not. So right here in choice D, there's more in Y, so go ahead and eliminate it. Choice E is evened out. Go ahead and eliminate it. Now we're left with 3 choices instead of 5. So process of elimination is brought down to 3 options instead of 5. So that's kind of better for us right now at this moment. Let's see if we can use the second variable. Neither the I nor the M belong to the owner of the F, meaning that the I and F cannot belong to the ownership same as F. So let's see where in here where those variables are with the letter F. F's by itself here, F's by itself here, F's with M against the rules. Go ahead and eliminate it. Now we're left with 2 options, choice A and B. With this right here, we're going to go ahead and read the last rule. Either Tent owns the stable or Y owns the I or both. So meaning S is owned by T or I is owned by Y or SI is the ownership in the Y position. So let's look for it where S is the ownership by T. That works out here. S is not owned by T here, and SI is not in Y. So process of elimination brought us down to choice A. If you're looking for a way to verify if this information is correct, utilize the rules, regulations, and conditions. So these are the rules, regulations, conditions. So there has to be more in W than Y. Clear. I, M cannot belong with F. Clear. And S belongs to T. So this does meet the conditions. Choose answer A, and then you're going to end up with the following information as far as the ownership of GS belongs to T. The IM belongs to W. And the Y is going to be owning the F. So that's going to be for question 14. And it's really important that you copy down the game piece once you get it correct. because in the long run, that's going to help you out when you want to refer to it or need to come back to a game piece that would be considered similar into that manner. So let's see if we can move on to the next question. Question 15 wants to know which one of the following is a pair of buildings that cannot have been owned by the Trents. Now, the way logic games work out, you don't have to necessarily go in the order that it comes to you at, number 14, number 15. You can go what you consider in the order that you would be more sufficient at. And with this answer right now, we don't really have what you consider enough information to answer that. So let's go ahead and skip it. Question 16. If Y owns the mill, which one of the following must be true? So this is a really good specific question. And it's basically going to be communicating about the ownership of and it wants to know if M is in the Y ownership, which of the following could be true. So I created two worlds here right now at this moment. And with these two worlds on the right hand side, it has M as the ownership. And for those of you guys that don't see it, let me see if I can go ahead and mark it for you guys a little bit more clear. So that way you can see that where M actually is belonging to. So M is going to be in this square right here with the ownership of M in both the Y position. And I went ahead right now and put a box around it. So we're focusing on these two worlds at this moment. Now it wants to know, so if M is in the Y position, which of the following must be true? That T owns the F. That's not true in the second world, so go ahead and eliminate it. The T owns the I. That's not true in the first world, go ahead and eliminate it. The W owns the F. That's not true in the first world, go ahead and eliminate it. The W owns the G. That's true in both worlds. And if you guys are having what you consider a problem seeing that, you see where I circle G at the moment? That is going to show you that the ownership of G is in the W. And this is going to be for question 16. So let's see choice E. The W is owned by I. No, not in the second world. The only thing that must be true is that the G is owned by W in both worlds. So go ahead and choose that as the answer. Answer D. The Williams owns the G. Question 17 wants to know if one of the families owns both the G and the I, which of the following could be true? So let's look for a game piece that has G and I together. And if we don't see it, let's go ahead and create one where we can see that G and I are together. Now, while I'm creating this world, it's important to know that while you're creating the worlds, you want to make sure you create it where it's going to meet the conditions. So for this to work, we have to have that one of the family owns G and I, which we have right here. And then if we flip these two together, the I would be with the G. So let's go ahead and use these two worlds to go ahead and answer this question right now. The T owned the G. We don't see that to be true. The T owns the M. We do see that to be true. If you don't see it, look right here where the M is owned by T. So go ahead and choose that for now. The W owns the F. You have to flip these over and then you see that F belongs to T, so no. The W owns the S. No, S is going to be owned by T. And the Y owns the I. Nope. The only thing that could be true is that T owns the M. If you don't see it, I'm going to try to mark it off as much as possible. See where I circled M? That means that's the ownership of T, so that could be true. So go ahead and choose that as the answer. And the answer is B. The Trent owns the M. Question 18 wants to know, if the Trent owns exactly one of the buildings, which one of the following is a complete and accurate list of the buildings, any one that could be the building that the Trent owned? So we already know based on the third condition that the S has to be in the T position or there's going to be in the Y position. So for this answer, S has to be in there. And if you don't see S, go eliminate it. Because we already know that S is allowed to be with the ownership T. So now we have two choices, C and E. So we'll look for two options at this moment. Instead of playing both of these options to figure out which one is correct, go ahead and play one of them. I'm going to choose choice C, and I'm going to create a world where I'm going to see if it's allowed to be played. Now, I created a world where I am is going to be in the ownership of T. If you look right here, and it should be in a position where it's going to be I and S. Let me see if I can go ahead and make that letter M into an S here. Okay, so if I have I and S, what you consider in this position, and let me go ahead and take this away real quickly. Okay, so I and S is where T. So that forces, I can't have two S's. That forces the variable M with Y. However, if that's the case, then you're gonna have where you consider S and I with T, but then the variable M is gonna be by itself with Y, and then you're gonna have the position G and F in the middle. So more variables with Y, I M are not with F. If T owns S, that means that is the rule. However, I being by itself is not a position that's going to happen. If I is by itself, it forces M to be with Y, and then you have S with W, and that's not allowed because the ownership of S needs to be with T or Y. So if you see, this means that I has to be by itself with T, and it doesn't work out by itself. So let's go ahead and indicate this right now, that this isn't going to work out, having I by itself. And the reason why it doesn't work out, it puts the letter M with Y, and then puts the letter S with W, which is not allowed in the conditions. So since that's not going to be allowed, I'm going to go ahead and remove it, because I is not going to work for itself. F and S is going to be dealing with process elimination. So this has to be the answer, because between these two answers, C and E, I doesn't work out. So go ahead and choose E by the process of elimination. And the process of elimination brought you to the answer, the F, the M, the S. So if this video helped you out, go ahead and subscribe so I continue making more, and I will post them on YouTube to help you out. And if you want to see how well we did, let's go ahead and take a look. And we missed one answer here. Let's see if we can answer this really quickly. So they want to know which one of the following pairs of buildings cannot have been both by the owned by the T and the G. So if we see it, see. If we don't, we don't. I see S and I. Let's go ahead and remove it. And as a moment, I see G and S. So I'm left with I M, G M, and F G. Now they're asking about which one of the following cannot be owned. So let's see if I can go ahead and play this out really quickly right now with the choice D. So I'm going to put I am here with the letters T, intent. Let me see if I can use this game board right here. So I'm going to put I am here. The letter S. So T owns the I, and Y owns the S. And to be honest with you, this is not going to work out at all with the I and the M. Because if T owns the I, that means that it also has to be with the S too as well. And for that, that's not going to happen. So let's go ahead and choose choice D. And the answer is D, the I and the M. Let's see how well we did on this game board. This was game 2, so let's complete the selection. For this game, game 3, game 3, we got all the questions correct. Quick review. We answered the first question. We skipped the 15, went into question 16, then went to 17, 18, and then we came back to finish the last one, 15, and we were able to get all the questions correct. A florist is filing a customer's order for 3 bouquets. Bouquet 1, bouquet 2, and bouquet 3. Each of the bouquet is to be composed of one or more of the 5 kinds of flowers. L, P, R, S, T. Subject to the following conditions. If you guys are ever having difficulty trying to get a diagram or image on the what you would consider the mindset to have a view of how this is going to be, just go ahead and look at the question and the answer choices. Question: which one of the following could be a complete and accurate list of the kinds of flowers in each of the bouquets? This right here is going to give you the visual view of how they're diagramming. So basically this is how it will be constructed. I set it up with just the initial letters, L, P, R, S, T, taking on each letter a full meaning of the name. So R would be for roses, S would be for snapdragons. I put the number off to the side just so be more clear that it's only going to be 5 variables. Let's go start with the first condition. Bouquet 1 and 3 cannot have any of the same kinds of flowers in common. So if you look here, I put 1, 3, and I crossed it off. So 1 and 3 are not allowed to have the same kinds of flowers. So let's go see where they are the same. If you look at choice B, it is the same, so go ahead and remove it. Now let's go ahead and look at the second condition. The reason why I don't go and look for the rest of them, because if it is there, then you will catch it at the end. So that's why I just try to go off the first one. As soon as I see it's wrong, go ahead and eliminate, and I move to the second condition. Bouquet 2 and 3 must have exactly 2 kinds of flowers in common. So write down 2 and 3 with the X at the end, meaning that they have to have something in common, 2 and 3. So let's go ahead and see if we can find it. P and T are in common. The only thing I don't see in common is neither one. So all of them meet that condition. Let's go ahead and move on. Bouquet 3 must have a snapdragon. So I'm just going to put letter 3S, meaning third position is going to be a snapdragon. So let's go ahead and see it at this moment. If you look at choice E, we don't see the letter S, so that means that it's not going to be considered a possible option. So now we're left with 3 choices here. If a bouquet has an L, the bouquet must also have an R but cannot have a snapdragon. So basically, if L, then R, but no S. So let's see if we see L, R. Good. We don't see L. We see L, but we don't see R, but we see S. That's against the rules. So we're using a method known as process of elimination right now at this moment to get to the correct answer. And right now we're left with A, C, 2 choices. Hopefully this last one will eliminate one of them. If a bouquet has T, the bouquet must also have P. So if T, then P. So we're looking for a T, and then we see a P. This one does have it. We see T here, and we see a T here, and then we see a P. We see a T here, and we see a P. We see a T, but we do not see a P. So let's go ahead and remove this one. Process of elimination is brought to choice A. Now, a way to verify this is a method known as rules, regulations, and conditions. So all of these should apply to this one properly. 1 and 3 cannot be the same. Correct. 2 and 3 must have 2 in common. Correct. 3 is an S. Correct. If L, then R. Correct. If T, then P. Correct. correct. So that was verified with the rules of regular condition. So go ahead and choose A. And the answer is going to be A with the information on L, R, and bouquet 1. And bouquet 2 is going to have P, R, T. And bouquet 3 is going to have P, S, T. So hopefully you guys remember that the rules that we mentioned right now, the two methods that I'm showing you too, is going to be process of elimination, POE, a way to get to the final answer. And also once you get to the final answer, rules, regulations, and conditions. Basically all the conditions here need to apply to that one. So now that we answered question 19 correctly, let's go ahead and move on to the other questions here. Question 20. If Lily are in bouquet 1, which one of the following must be true? So this is going to be considered a must be true question. And with a must be true question, you want to kind of create two worlds. That way you're not really just relying on one, if that makes more sense. It's always better to rely on two worlds and not just one. So right now we see that L is in the first position and R is also in the first one as well, because if you see L, then you see R. Now with that being in mind, 3 puts S in number third position. And with 1 and 3, they cannot have stuff in common. So this right now is already set up enough where we can go ahead and answer these questions. Which of the following must be true? L, R, N, bouquet 2. And if you notice in the middle, it's going to say R, N, bouquet for the same. So it's going to be quicker to go L and 2. If you see it, you see it. You don't, you don't. If you don't, I don't see it, I just eliminate P's and 3. I do see P's and 3 for both worlds. So I'm going to go ahead and select it. Answer B. P, R, N, bouquet 3. Moving on. Question 21. If T are in bouquet 1, which one of the following could be a complete and accurate list of the kinds of flowers in bouquet 2? So they're requesting the information if T is going to be in 1, which I put right here at the moment. What kind of flowers are going to be in this position right here, known in the bouquet 2? So since we don't have a world at this moment where we have T in 1, let's go ahead and create two worlds that will have where you consider T in 1. And with these two worlds I'm going to create, we're going to have it where the position is available that T is in 1, and accompanying T is going to be P, so T and P is going to be a 1. That puts L, R, S into 3. 2 and 3 need to have same kind, so we're going to have a letter R in number 2. So right now, at this moment, this is how I have it designed. We can go ahead and fill in a little bit more variables for the 2 row. And I'm going to be able to put in the letter P, T for the first world, and for the second world, I'm going to go ahead and put the letters P, T as well. So basically, here I created what you would consider 2 worlds. And in these 2 worlds, the letter T is in the first one. And they're asking for which kind of flowers is going to be what you consider the number 2 position. So right now I see 4 variables is possible. So if I don't see 4 variables, I'm going to go ahead and eliminate it. So process of elimination brought us down to choice E. Let's use the game board as a way to verify this is true or not. So it's asking for PRST. In the first world, I don't see it. In the second world, I see RSPT, and that is the same. PRST has the 4 letters that we have too in this world, RSPT. So go ahead and choose E. And the answer is going to be E, PRST. Question 22. Which one of the following cannot be a complete and accurate list in bouquet 2? Let's see if we can try to answer this question right now, if we have the enough data to answer it with. So since I'm having a hard time answering this question, I'm going to go ahead and play the first one, see if it's possible, choice A. So I'm going to create a world where I have L and R in bouquet 2. And as you can see, I've already created it. So we have to have 2 of a kind in 2 and 3. So 2 exactly. So we have L and R. 1 and 3 cannot be the same, and Snapdragon needs to be in S. So right now we're having a difficult time with the letter S, because if we see the letter L, we can't have S in there, because L is the remover S, and also S can't go in 2. So that forces S to be here, but we need to have 2 at the minimum though, matching exactly. And at this moment, this information with the L and R isn't going to work out, especially with number 2 and 3, because it prevents S from being in there. And we know that 3 automatically, this condition 3 has to go in what you consider in 3 no matter what. But the problem is though that the condition is not allowing the letter S to be in there. So therefore it's not gonna be working out with L and R in the row 2. Answer A, L and R. Question 23, the final one. Which of the following cannot be true? So if we see it, please go ahead and remove it. L, R, and 1. We see in question 19. Go ahead and remove it. P and T in bouquet 1. We see it in this world 21. Go ahead and remove it. L, P, R are the only kinds in bouquet 2. L, P, R. We don't see that in any world possible, so go ahead and select it as the one that cannot be true. Answer C. L, P, and R are the only kinds of flowers in a bouquet. If this video helped you out, please subscribe so I continue making more.